And welcome back to Building the Boys. We've now got issue 40 of Hachette Disney Dolls House. This is significant. This is key, this one. Even though we're not really doing loads, we're adding 2 walls to the basement. There is a significance to this one. And the significance is we are now 1/3 of the way through the build. So 1/3 of the total build is complete. That's not including the holiday extension. The initial 120 run, we are 1/3 of the way through. So if you have made it this far, give yourselves a bloody big pat on the back, because I know a lot of you came to this for the first time, and this is the first time doing something like this. If you've made it this far, take a moment and look at everything you've done, because you've done a lot and you've done really well. So what are we doing in this one? Well, in this one, we're adding the final 2 walls to our basement structure. They've made the instructions incredibly long-winded. We're gluing a wall is what we're doing, twice. So it's the first one, and then we move over to the other one. Now, I typically say to you, allow your glue to dry, don't jump ahead. And that is normally the way this goes. Now, the advantage you've got as a monthly sub is 41, stage 1 of 41. That's key, stage 1 of 41. Do straight away. Because it includes the joists and the support walls. So rather than having these 2 walls there and then kind of hoping they dry straight, just go ahead to 41 and put your joists in as well, and it will just help that. It will help that a lot. So you can move on, but just do stage 1. Don't do stage 2. Just don't. Stage 1, you're okay. Put the supporting walls in, the joists and whatnot, and it'll keep all upright and nice. We do get some pretties in this one, as always. And in this one, we get some more bits for Donald's room. Now, Donald's room is hectic. It's a playroom. So in the centre of Donald's room is just a great big mass of cushions and stuff. And you're going to start to see those quite frequently over the next few months, because there's a lot goes in his room. And I mean, at this stage, we haven't had loads for this room. I mean, I think we've had a table and the palm tree and a few bits and pieces. But other than that, not really. But there's a ton goes in there. In this one, we get a picnic basket for him, a couple of sandwiches, a placemat, and again a little line off the basket. It's very nice, and it's all very themed. We'll take a look at those in a minute. But let's get on with this, because we are pretty much coming to the end of the basement now. The next issue is it for the basement. It's also it for this section of the house for a long time. So as I said, put these in. Move straight on to 41 and apply your joists as well, then let all that dry. But not loads to do. Again, just not loads. This entire pack is kind of the theme of this one, with the exception of what might be a little bit of a grind in the next one. This whole pack is very kind of subdued. There's not tons to do. But let's have a look at our pretty bits, and then we'll move on to the build. So here's what we get in stage 40 for our pretty stuff. Now, you can see I've gone ahead and I've put this and I've lined the basket. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I've been banging on about the detail of this for so long. But you can see here, I mean, even Donald's bow tie is on the basket. It's those little touches. It's those little touches that make this something special, you know? This isn't just a generic basket. It's now Donald's basket. It's themed to him. And you can see that with our sandwiches as well. If I show you this sandwich here. So you can see you've got the little Donald duck there. The sandwich has been cut shaped like a boat to fit the nautical theme of that room. It's lovely detail on the sandwich filling there, and we can just pop that straight into the basket. And then finally, so I can get this one with the tweezers, we have this sandwich here. Again, the filling's very detailed, but look at that. It's his little duck paw. It's his little foot, and I just think that's lovely. I really do. Again, it's those little features that make this something special. It just is. So we'll pop that one in there, and then we do get a placemat as well. Now the placemat apparently goes on the little side table that we got last month, I think it was, and that's what we've got. So that's it. I mean, nothing to really song and dance about, but again, it's just beautiful. And I mean, this is what I like about this house. This house is like a curio cabinet, but the more you look, the more you see. So everywhere you look, you'll see some other little feature, some other little thing, and it's the level of detail in this. It just makes this something really special. And what a beautiful thing. What a beautiful little thing. But we're going to put that away. We're going to keep that nice and safe. We're going to move on to the build now. Again, just take your time with this one. Nothing complicated about it. So let's get into it. Okay. So here are the 2 pieces we're going to be working with in this issue. Now, The main difference is one of them has this groove. Now that is going to be the groove that's going to hold the wires for our lighting. So that groove tells us immediately that this one lives over here. So this is where this one's going to go. It's going to go in here, loosely fit that one in. That's where that one's going to go. And then the other one, you'll see, does not have that groove, but it's going to match. It's going to be a mirror of it, and it's going to fit onto this side now. I won't be able to catch that on camera. So everything I do with this one, you just mirror, and you do to this one here. So that's how I'm going to do this, and then we'll take a look at it at the end. But I'll show you prepping this one. Again, you know what you're doing. We're not new to this. We're old hands is what we are. So let's get this one nice and glued. All along here. These applicator bottles I swear by. You can see how easy it is to get the glue on with one of these. It just gives you this precision. He says running out of glue from his applicator bottle. It's like, I couldn't have timed that better. Yeah, I've just run out of glue. Let me refill the glue. Okay, we're running again. I'm such a rookie. There we go. Right, that along there. Okay, and now we're going to get these sides here. Get some on the tab. Tab this side as well. There. There. And there. And now we're going to get this side too, because this is going to be bonded to the other wall. So we're going to come all along here, all along here as well. Now using the old faithful cotton bud, we're going to get this nice and smooth along here, so nice and coated. And then we're going to fit that in place. So we can do that along there. Tabs here. Tab here. Tab here. Flip them over. Same again. So we've got a nice covering on all of these. Okay, now it should just be a case of dropping it in, and then we are pretty much done with it, this side. So I'm going to drop that one down. And that's it. So once that's in, we're going to allow that to dry a little bit. I mean, I want a little bond, and I'll also jump straight onto the next one, but we're going to allow that to bond to get that exactly where it needs to be. And that's where we are. Okay, so I'm going to, because of the sort of size of this, I'm going to do the exact same thing I've just done with this one on this side, and then we'll take a look at the finished product. So there we are. You can see both sides are on now. I'm allowing the glue to bond a little bit before we move on to 41, because again, with 41 you'll get joists, which will hold these in place. Okay? So that's why I'm saying, you know, if you want to move on, move on. You don't have to wait for this to be completely bonded. If you want to move, move. Because that'll help, but only do stage 1. But that's it. That's how we're looking. So let's have a chat. It's 40 complete. I mean, again, fairly simple. It's 2 walls. That's all it is. So there's nothing complicated about this. That's done, and that is kind of the theme of this month, with the exception of where we're about to go, which I'll talk about in a moment. But allow this to bond a little bit, because it is important that this remains straight and level, because this is the base of your house. If you don't do that, putting the ground floor on is going to be a problem. But we'll be all right. As I said, we'll get through it. We're in it together. We'll see it through to the end. So coming up next is an incredibly key issue, because we are adding the ground floor, which is over here, to the basement. So the basement's complete, kind of complete at this point. I mean, it's as complete as it's going to be for the structure. There's a lot more to go in this basement, a hell of a lot more, but it's all external. So we've got a few more pieces to install. We've got a supporting wall's going to go in there, a couple of joists that are going to hold this kind of firming in place. For then we are going to glue all of it, and we are going to attach the house to this. It's going to take a little wiggling. The likelihood of yours just fitting flush first time, pretty bloody slim. But don't worry about it. We'll get there, right? So don't stress that. It's going to be all right. If you're panicking about it, don't panic. It's going to be okay. Just take a little wiggling, and we'll get it on. But that's all for this one. That really is all for this one. Now, the one thing I will say is you will see the groove inside of the basement. What I will be doing, and I'll probably do it in the next issue, is with the wooden models that I build, you can kind of see some on the shelf over there. These. because they have a lot of moving parts, they all come with wax. So I get these little wax blocks with them. And it always insists, wax the blocks, and that's what we do. We wax them, and then they work very smoothly, they work very nicely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wax the channel. Because this is going to have a drawer sliding in and out of it, I want that drawer to be as smooth as possible. Now, it's not on runners, it's literally just wood against wood, and it kind of off it goes. My concern is if that thing kind of, I don't know how loose or strong it's going to be. So if that thing kind of stutters as you're pulling it, I don't want it jerking the house and throwing all these sort of ornaments about. So I'm going to wax the channel just to give it as smooth as possible a run. I'm not saying you should do it. If you choose to do it, that's your choice. But that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to wax the channel here, and then when we eventually get to the runners of the drawer, I'm going to wax those as well. I might wax the floor a little. Then that way it just means this thing runs as smooth as I can get it to run without actually having draw runners on it, because as I said, this is just wood against wood. But we'll see exactly how it pans out. That's it for this one. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. Subscriptions, massive help for our channel. They really give us a boost and help us reach much more of you, and that's ultimately what it's about. We love talking and interacting with all of you. If you have any comments, please pop them down below and I will get back to you. If there's something you've got that's too big for the comments, you can contact us at buildwiththeboys@outlook.com, and we are always happy to help. So if you run into any problems at all, I'll do everything I can do to talk you through it. If you do have problems, because I have had a few people say to me, this doesn't work for me, if you can send pictures in the attachment, that helps no end, because I can see exactly what's going on and I can help you where we can. That's it for this one. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice, and we will catch you very, very soon for 41, and that's going to be a big one. See you then.